to the fourth episode of Back to Business webinar series. My name is Hilary Rand. I am a partner at Think Hospitality and one of the co-founders of New Baltic Hospitality Forum. We are now on our fourth episode of the series. If you are joining us for the first time, I just give you a very quick overview of who we are as a team. So 5 wonderful people who came together about 2 years ago to start working on an event for the Baltic region, focusing more on the hotel side, but bringing a lot of hospitality knowledge together. We had a great event last year in April. We had 24 speakers, 204 delegates from 13 countries. It was a great time, and we wanted to, of course, continue this year. As we all know, it's a bit of a different time for all of us in this industry. So we've moved the event right now to October. We are hopeful that we can host it the way we want to, but let's see where the world will be by that time. We are embracing digital, as you can see from this current webinar. And so what we decided is that in the meantime, there's a lot of information out there, and we all need help in one way or another. So we put together these 7 webinar series and got great help from our partners, Enterprise Estonia and the city of Tallinn. So thank you so much for our partners. And we wanted to take you on a kind of journey of all the different facets of what's happening in hospitality, and bring speakers that are both regional and also from outside our region, but looking in and that can help and give guidance to all of us in the different spheres. So we started with a bigger introduction of numbers and trends. We talked about how to restart your team, looked at product and service. Today we're now in episode 4, talking about cost and revenue management. Next week will be all about communication around the client. Then we look at a finance and real estate view, because a lot of things have obviously changed on that front as well, and what that means for the development pipeline and the years ahead. And then the bigger picture again, what's the path forward. And every time we have a wonderful sketch artist, Kati Orav, who produces an infographic for us of what's happening in the webinar. We try to always send these out the day after, so the one for today's sessions will come out tomorrow. These will be produced both in English and in Estonian, so you can share with your team, and there's some really great messages. So this is just a recap from last week when we talked about product and service, and with all these webinars you can watch on our website as well. I do encourage you to go back and share it with your teams, because there's some really good content on that one as well. But without further ado, I would like to introduce the moderator for today. So Janis will take over now, and he will talk you through the topic. So Janis, the stage is yours.
Hi, hello everyone. Great to be part of this, and thank you for joining everyone. A very interesting topic today: cost, revenue, and the pricing. And I have 3 fantastic speakers with me today. Jako Kapp from Benchmarking Alliance, Spolén from Infor, and Schukowski, the general manager of Kempinski Vilnius. I'm sure it's very interesting topic in very interesting times. And we all know after the measurements were taken down a little bit and was softened, so there was a kind of expectation generally from the people that as the hospitality is doing pretty tough, the rates should go down. And we all know, same time, by all the measures we need to take, we know the rates cannot go down because there is a lot of extra cost on this. And that was, I was always advocating really to estimate the costs for the hotel before you set the price. And but about going down the price, we see that only in the capital cities. We see the regions are doing pretty fine at the moment. I have even examples who are reporting resort hotels who have on the books in July, August better as last year, which is thanks to that the people cannot go out and spend money. You made the big travels and spend more money. They can spend more money now. Yeah, that's actually a historical moment that so I guess I'm lost.
No, you're all good.
Oh, we hear you.
Moment that regions are doing far better than the capital cities. As the capital cities were all which were the headliners and the locking pulling through. And sure, there's a little bit of euphoria at the moment as well in the regions, and even the capital cities, they're reaching up to over 10%. Some hotels with 40%. A little bit euphoric, but there is a big unknown, and that's the autumn, because we all know that's the leisure, and the leisure will be gone in a couple of months, and there is not much on the books, but I'm hearing from the business, and we really don't know how that will move on. And therefore we gather the three fantastic speakers, and we crack on some insights, on some ideas how to manage our costs, how to run our revenues, how to do the price. I give the word to the Jako from the Benchmarking Alliance, and Jako will give a little insights of first of all overview of the Baltics of the data, and then generally how to better operate hotels, and particularly how to plan the hotels for the future. So Jako, floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you. Hello for everyone, and thank you for inviting me to the webinar. My name is Jako Kapp, and my expertise lies in hotel concept development on the one hand, and hotel analytics on the other hand. And today's presentation is based on the principle that if you want to understand pricing of hotel services in the next normal, we also need to understand the changes of hotel services in the next normal. And therefore, in my short speech, I will focus on the changes in the hotel concept and connection to the pricing of hotel services. Let's try to share my screen. Can you see?
Yep, perfect.
Okay. Before I'm going to focus on macroeconomic background, let's have a look at the latest data from our neighboring capitals. Here you can see the Nordic market, and as you see, the numbers is almost the same if you talk about the occupancy. But one important trend which may not be immediately noticed here is that the higher the occupancy, the greater the decrease in ADR, which means that the growing demand on the market respectively escalate the price war, which is most likely unavoidable everywhere. This is quite good trend you can see here, and probably this will happen until the certain level of a certain ADR level. We have to consider. The next page, I will show you a little bit deeply the Tallinn hotel market, the data coming from June 2020, and I split the market standard class, comfort, first, and luxury class. And here's also the numbers presents another factor which is important. It shows that the price war at the highest pressure on the mid-scale class hotels. If you pay attention on the ADR of comfort class and first class hotels, the difference is only €3, more or less. This is also something we have to consider, and this happens everywhere and every time. Now let's jump back to the main theme, macroeconomic background of hotel concepts. So the business model of our existing hotels today has been developed in an environment that was driven by service-based demand, where hotels have been subject to strict rules of star policy, 1 star, 2 star, 3 star, so on. And standard hotel model here is characterized by traditional guest room with 22 square meter rectangle with the 4 square meter cube in the left or right corner. This is the world we are coming from. The development of digital marketing and growing availability of traveling allowed better and better personalization, but the problem was that the existing hotels didn't have possibility or enough knowledge to provide the services on a more personalized level. And this was the reason for the rise of Airbnb and its exponential growth. But as we know, soon there were problems with Airbnb model as well, because the quantity of rental apartments diminished the uniqueness, and the lack of administrative capacity decreases the safety. And now, more than 5 years ago, we entered into the new world, which we can call experience-based demand. And the environment has changed, and the new business model is driven by this new world. It is important to notice here that this is nothing to do with the COVID-19 situation. This happens before, and the process is ongoing. And if you look what's happened in the market, then today we have the process where we will get inputs from the traditional hotels and Airbnb, and we have such kind of integration. And the new hotel model involves the effectivity from standard hotel model and originality from Airbnb hotel model. And now is question today, what is the effect of COVID-19 on the new hotel model? And the COVID-19 gives us reliability and functionality. The COVID-19 has increased the need for higher reliability, which comes from hotel side, and for higher functionality, which comes from Airbnb side. And these four inputs creates the new basic of the new hotel concept. In the next normal, we have to consider. We can name the new guest rooms that it is characterized by visual diversity, multifunctionality, service originality, and reliability. And now is question, what is the influence to the pricing of hotel services and revenue management? The answer is that the guest room as a core product of the hotel will be much more important, and the guest room revenue will be more mixed. It means that, for example, the guest rooms in the near future, we will see interactive retail shopping inside the guest room. Business class room will meet the need for accommodation as well as small meetings inside the rooms. Suites will be designed with a remote kitchen for catering private parties or private events. Extended stay guest rooms will be used for long-term rental and so on. And this multifunctionality happens in public services as well. It doesn't influence only the guest rooms. We have to consider. One service that will definitely will be changed is also breakfast. Traditional breakfast will be more labor intensive and therefore more expensive. But for the price sensitive clients, I can see that breakfast will be more diverse, including in-room breakfast in a minibar, fresh food kiosk in public areas, and so on. And this is conclusion of my short speech. I think my time is over now, because I have only seven minutes to have question. And thank you for everyone, and thank you for the team to give me the opportunity to have some discussion with this team.
Thank you, Jako. If you can stop the screen share, actually, that would be great. And then we can, let me just make sure Janis will be unmuted so that There we go. Janis, can we
Yeah,
hear?
great. Thank you, Jako, for the interesting insights for the future hotel rooms and generally the how the hotel will could operate. And now we have a pool, yeah.
Yes.
So now we have one question for you to answer.
Yes. Let me now. I like the polls. So I will launch a poll on your screen. Everyone can vote. It's totally anonymous, so we won't know who answered what. So the question is, what is the main reason for customers to come to you, your property? Is it location? Is it unique and specific features? Is it competitive price? Is it distinctive service? Or is it reliable product quality? Just vote on your screen. Again, like I said, it's totally anonymous. We won't know who answered what. So feel free to share your ideas so we get a bit of a sense of where our audience that is right now around 60 people will be at. And again, if you have any questions in the meantime, please do make sure that you use that functionality. That can be also anonymous. So that will be fine. We do have, I think Rainis is trying to ask a question.
Yeah, just via Jako.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect. There we go. Okay, let's see what the poll has produced us. Let me try to get rid of this. I'm going to end it because it's 70% voted, and I'm going to share the results on the screen. So what do we see? The main reasons people are coming to the properties of our audience is the majority winner is unique and specific features, followed thereafter by reliable product quality. Very interesting. And we see where price falls on this one. And it's interesting to see that service is really having a very small proportion of that. Thank you everyone for voting. That was great. And Janis, you can take it from here.
Yes, and our next one, I'm really grateful to introduce Kim Spolén from Infor. And Kim will share his thoughts on revenue and cost from technology perspective. And Kim always, I know, have fantastic and very interesting thoughts and suggestions for the future investments in terms of technology, where hotels hotels should consider and plan. So Kim, welcome.
Thank you. Hi. I'm most happy to have been invited to this presentation. My name is Kim Spolén. I work for Infor Hospitality and I'm situated in Stockholm and responsible for the Nordic and Baltic market. I have a background, some 20 hotels in 20 years in hotel business. I started as luggage porter and continued reception and onwards. So I've done basically everything to do behind the desk in a hotel during my years. So, okay, over to today's topic and revenue management. So let me start with saying that there will be winners and there will be losers on the new travel market, and you will make the difference in how you work with your decisions all the time. It had been said before, but it needs to be said again. This is a time to think differently, and we could even call it like revenue agility, because that is the model we need to be swift and to be looking at what's happening at every single situation. What we do know is that the market will basically consider of containing the same number of hotels, but they will compete of, let's say, for argument's sake, 50 to 70% of the previous numbers of travelers. So yes, there will be winners and there will be losers. My first point may sound extremely basic, but it should be said. I hope you did not make your revenue manager redundant during the Corona period. I'm so surprised to see all over Europe how many revenue managers that have been out of the process during this period. I'm absolutely baffled by it. I don't, in my world, the revenue manager should be one of the person that you should keep the longest. Of course, you need receptionists as well, but still, I'm so fascinated or stunned, to understand how many revenues have lost their job. It's really strange. So yes, hope you do have a revenue manager in place. But looking at that revenue manager, on the other hand, they need to be thinking very differently. In the old days, the important part of maximizing revenue was basically restricting demand and when was the right time to accept the majority of reservations. Unfortunately, I don't think that is the situation any longer. Instead of restricting, you need to attract demand. You will find that you need to find the best price for every single time, not meaning the lowest, really, not the lowest. I would say that still the majority of trips, especially in the weeks, will be done by travelers that need and want to travel. So I don't think their decision is based on lower price. I will give you one small example. This is from my own company, just to give you an insight in how we look at hotel. I work for Infor. We have 17,000 employees worldwide. We have very simple rules on how to travel and reserve hotel. So for the hotel, I have a maximum limit of the hotel where I can stay, the cost, and as long as that hotel is under that one, I don't really care if it's 110, 150 or 190 euro per night. And so I only look at that limit, and apart from that, I'm basically only looking at a hotel that fits me the best and gives me the best value of money. So from my perspective as a business traveler, of course, this is really different from all different companies, but from my point of view, the lower price doesn't help at all. I'm only choosing from the quality and the situation of the hotel. But on the other hand, one must understand that I'm only allowed to book a hotel that is visible on our internal travel agency systems. So if you're not available on the GDSs, I can't book you. I am not allowed to book on your webpage. I'm not allowed to book on booking.com or anything at any price. Even if I should get the half price on your website, I can't book it. This is important to understand. But as I said, this is different for every company, but do keep in mind that there are so many reservations out there that's booked like that. Okay, moving on. So you need to predict your future, and to predict your future, you need to understand what's happening on the market. So you must look at your segmentations. Most important is the segmentation and the statistic and prognosis you get out of your present systems. So that should be evaluated and see if it should be changed. It probably should, because your setup is most probably an old one. Just having a figure of 60% business travelers will not really help you at all. So you should think of your hotel basically as a new hotel and rethink what is your best market share and to make segmentations based on this. Secondly, we must talk about total revenue. We have been talking about total revenue for so long, but now is really the time to end the silos and talk to each other within the hotel. Your hotel, or your establishment, I should say, is probably having a hotel, restaurant, bar, conference, banqueting, maybe spa, a lot of different departments. And the total revenue is something that is done with all the departments meeting in the same room at least every week to look at the forward road. And the revenue manager must stop looking at the RevPAR and instead look at the TrevPAR, because that is where it's happening. And for this, you should also look at the technical solutions that are out there. We're not here really to discuss it, but yes, if you're doing everything this manually, if you do rate shopping manually, it's a very slow process and you're losing so much time on making the right decisions. You really should evaluate different systems on the market to help you. My time is out, so I can't really evaluate more on this, but I would say at the end, even though I'm really positive about the future, I think we will move forward. I think that the need for people to meet will win over the fear. And I think that we are coming back to better travel market, hopefully sooner than expected. And it's still, you need to be on top of the situation and to move forward as quickly as possible. So don't be afraid, out of the silos and make decisions for the future. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kim. I'm just trying to make sure that we get Janis unmuted. I had a question though, Kim. Can you expand a little bit on the total revenue, just to kind of wrap my head around that, because I think that's an important point.
Yes, absolutely. Revenue, when you look at the RevPAR is basically building all of the strategy on maximizing your rooms. And of course, that is important, but in the total RevPAR, you must also see at, if I fill my hotel rooms with travelers that are not using my restaurant, not using my spa, etc., my decision as revenue manager for the hotel rooms will affect the other departments of your establishment. So you should really look at, okay, if we fill what is possible, we don't really maybe talk about filling any longer, but the amount of guests that we are attracting, make sure that they are beneficial for all of the hotel, because if your restaurant is empty, that is affecting, of course, at the end of the day, your total income. And I've seen over the years so many restaurant managers just fighting for filling the restaurant, hotel manager just fighting for filling the hotel, and they can't even sit down and discuss how we do this together so often. That's what I mean, that all departments or head of department should meet every week to discuss how we fill the establishment with the right kind of guests.
Thank you. Over to you, Janis.
Yeah, thank you, Kim, for the insightful thoughts. As always, thank you. And actually, it's not back to me, it's back to you, Hillary, because it's full again.
Sure, but in the meantime, I'll just see if there's any questions come through. Please feel free to use that functionality, guys, so that we can actually help you, and you have great industry insiders here right now who can share their thoughts. So do make sure you use that functionality. But in the meantime, I'm going to launch the second poll of the day. If you will see it on your screen now, it's again unanimous. So what do you find most challenging in pricing after COVID-19? Is it customer consumption readiness? Is it competitors' actions? Is it price change in outsourced services and fees? Is it product-based price changes, product-based price changes, or salary cost changes in the industry? So I already see with 15% of votes coming in, there's a clear winner. So let's see, this will be interesting. I think it's validating why we're having this webinar and this topic specifically. So let's see, I'm gonna give a bit more time. We're about 50% there. I'm gonna give you about 15 more seconds. Again, we won't know who answered what, so do feel free to give us a bit more data, because we do like to see where we are in terms of sentiment, because I think it's really really important. Come on, let's get 3 more votes in, then we'll be very, very happy. We are about 60 people now, so that's really good. And we haven't had any drop-off, so thank you so much for joining us. I know it's July, it's summer, but this is important for business, so thanks again for joining us. I'm going to end the poll now and share the results, guys, on the screen. So what do we see? Competitors' actions taking #1 slot, and then customer consumption readiness coming thereafter. So I think that's I don't know, Janis, what kind of an answer were you expecting from the crowd, kind of basing it on your experience?
Yeah, this one I kind of as well was expecting. It's but it's nothing new yet. Yeah. So we are talking about a lot about price wars now, but we know for sure the price wars already were there before the COVID. Yeah? And only the good news, there's not much to go down with the rates anymore, because they were already in a cellar before the COVID. So.
Very true, very true. So I'm going to stop the share now, and you can introduce our next speaker, who I think can take everything kind of together from because we're hearing from the horse's mouth, so to speak.
Yeah, it's always good to have somebody from operations. So I'm really glad to have Schukowski from Kempinski, Vilnius, the general manager, and it would be great if you could talk. So what was your changes in a new normal with pricing, revenues, and costs, and how you see the future as well, particularly the coming autumn?
Sure. Thank you, Janis. Well, as I'm the last speaker, I didn't bring any slides, but I brought something else.
Come on.
email. All right, okay. You know, somehow you have to. We have seen so many webinars, so we have to somehow break the ice a little bit. We had before death by PowerPoint. Now we're reaching death by webinars, I guess. But nonetheless, it's a great format. Thank you, Hilary and Janis, for putting us together. Definitely much needed, and especially in these times to share ideas and feedback. So yeah, I want to obviously happy to add a bit of point of view from the operator perspective. Obviously, from our side in the luxury segment, I understand it might be different maybe to some of you listening who are maybe in different sectors of the hotel industry. But you know, for us, we really we were closed, obviously, as most other hotels. We opened on the 1st of July with very, yeah, you know, obviously, I guess, pessimistic outlook as many of us. Nobody knew how it's going to be. We were positively surprised with the development, how it actually, you know, progressed since we opened. We made the conscious decision not to drop the rates significantly. Obviously, you have certain promotions and so on here and there, but we pretty much kept our rates actually quite stable. In fact, we just a few days ago increased them again. So we have to our closest competitor a rate difference of 30%, which is actually higher than it was in the past. So when we see your poll from the previous slide, that, you know, competitor kind of dictates your pricing. Personally, and again, that might be just in the luxury sector, but I think that's probably a downward spiral, because what happens is, you know, the competitor price drops the rate, you do the same, you match, then they do the same to get an advantage on you. So it's a downward, you know, spiral, which obviously is not helping anyone. And we really made a conscious decision to keep the rate premium. In fact, our operating costs, and I guess it's for many of you as well, actually increased. You know, we're offering a lot of added values, you know, hand sanitizers, face masks in the room. So all these things cost money. We have more cleaning personnel. So we're actually spending more on the variable and fixed operating costs. So, you know, we're not in a position to completely compete on price. And what we also see, I mean, when we went through the exercise before, you know, if you make the decision to lower your rate, obviously you need to compensate, you know, your two KPIs, your rate and your volume. If you drop the rate, you need to compensate with a higher volume, which again means more guests. That means more service that are required, and you know, again, your operating costs further increase while your rate, your direct profitability takes a hit. So for us, it was really a good thing to do. Of course, we are in a position to be the market, the rate leader, I would say, and we do that by offering added value. You know, we promise, we guarantee upgrades, we give added value. We're not cutting on our amenities. So contrary to you know, most others that are then just cutting the cost to still maintain the low rate, we on the contrary giving more than before, actually, to make sure, well, you know, now I know why I'm paying premium dollars for the hotel, and the guests really love it. And I think one of the factors that allows us also to do so is not just banking on health and safety. I mean, we all understand this is important. Definitely, it's crucial. But to be honest, I think, you know, you would expect going into a hotel that they clean the rooms, that they do all the hygienic sanitation. You know, if that's your only message, your marketing angle, that we are clean and safe, that is important, no question, you know. But I hope that was the same before, right? It might be a bit more and so on, definitely. But if your only angle is that we are clean and safe, and you have the pictures with people with masks, you know, people want to dream. They want to go, they want to escape the normal. Their normal at home is probably masks and sanitizing. So if they travel somewhere and stay somewhere else, they want to feel, you know, definitely in a safe environment, but they want to dream, they want to feel comfortable. So I think, you know, we sometimes overemphasize on that health and safety aspect. And again, that then puts us all in the same pocket. Price war, and we're all banking on the same USP. So I think to look at different angles that allows you to set yourself apart, drive a higher rate, and really let the guests dream. So that really is something that helped us significantly. And yeah, because also as a next step, you know, once hopefully the situation will come back to a sort of more normal, you know, it's going to be difficult. I mean, we've seen other hotels that dropped their rates by 50-60%. How are you going to go back to previous pricing after you had that for so many years? People get used to it. In addition to, you know, conflicting existing agreements that you may have with your corporate and contracted rates, you know, which traditionally were, I don't know, 20-30% under your published rates. Now the published rates are under the contracted rates, so you're gonna start having issues and challenges with your contracted rates that you had previously, and you might actually negatively impact existing relationships. And so really, as you can see, a clear advocate for keeping rates stable. Of course, I think it makes sense to play with it, to be creative, to give maybe a special discount code, to book directly on your own website, to shift some of the traffic to your own brand's website to save on the commissions. And of course, also when you have a higher rate, it still allows you and gives the flexibility to, on property basis, when the guest comes, to give an extended discount, to do something for your regular guest. But if you're already at the rock bottom rate, you don't have that flexibility. And especially, I think we see that in a lot of markets, we have a huge amount of same-day direct walk-ins. I mean, it's really, we never had something like this before. So having that, we can really play a little bit with the rate while still keeping it higher than our competition. But it gives that flexibility. The guest appreciates that. And we're all better off in the process. And at the same time, as I said, we can maintain a lean manning because we have less occupancy, but at a high rate, give the premium service, and the few guests that we have are really looked after. We do a la carte breakfast and really bespoke service experience to every single guest. We know all of them, rather than having full house, well, not full house, but 50% occupancy. A la carte, you need 15, 20 waiters to serve all of them. And it doesn't make financial sense, and the guests don't appreciate it. So that's really my suggestion, to really not only look at your competitor, but look how you can stand apart. We've seen it in the first call also. I think it mentioned unique service, experience, and so on. So look at how you are different to your direct competitor, other than the price. So that would be my strong recommendation. And in the process, we all be better off.
Thank you. I have actually, Janis, before you jump in, I have a question for you, Kai. Just going off from what Kim was saying before of this kind of looking at total revenue. So can you talk a little bit through how you've worked with your F&B department, your events, what has changed on that realm, and how do you guys price each other in that, on all the other services that a hotel offers besides the room?
Absolutely, 100%. I agree with Kim. This is something we traditionally were pretty, as an industry, quite bad at, I would say. So not only slowly now, we're really getting into this. And again, Kim, I think the revenue manager we should probably increase that team and maybe cut on other teams. But I think there we really have to invest more resources. Revenue, marketing, social media is the way forward. So again, I think generally probably our knowledge and analytics are not the strongest. So only now we start slowly to look at the entire guest journey, from booking to like you said. I mean, one is the net room rate. Sometimes we only also look at the actual room rate sold online. We got all excited, high ADR, but you take out the commission and so on. So already, with the, let's say, on average 20% commission, already the room rate is completely different than a slightly lower room rate on your own website without commission. So that's one point. And then, as you rightfully said, the total spend. And we're getting better at it. We know some of the guests where we are more flexible on the room rate, because as Kim said, they come, for example, from companies where they have a fixed rate and they only have a certain quota, which maybe wouldn't fit into our budget. So we are being flexible, because from the past, we've seen that they, from their own money, spend on champagne, they have their friends over. And so when we look at the total spend, and it's actually quite interesting, even now since we opened, the F&B spend on quite a few guest rooms actually outperforms the room spend. So the F&B on spend is higher than the room rate itself. So there again, you have to be smart. You don't just turn away a business because their rate is slightly lower. That's what I said before. Be flexible, knowing some of the background. Maybe this guest stayed with you, maybe they stayed in another property. That there is a spendy guest, I would say, and then you make that concession because and the total package you get it back eventually. So I think yes, we're still behind. I'm still not happy with the knowledge we have about that, but we understand this is something we have to invest more in, and definitely is the way forward, because it's not just room rate. We are not an Airbnb. We're selling spa. We're selling some guests, they may not even spend on champagne, but they're going to have a treatment for 300 euros. Perfect, so let them stay in the room for 150 euros. So I think that's a really crucial part going forward.
Kai, we have one question from the Q&A from anonymous attendee. If Vilnius suddenly get a big international event that would fill all the hotels, would dropping some business already in the books in order to get higher price be a good strategy?
Would dropping the, sorry, I didn't hear the last part.
Would dropping some business already in the books in order to get higher price be a good strategy?
Well, I mean, I think if you're in such a position that you have a lot of business on the books, well, congratulations to you. We are sadly not. We can really see that, you know, the trends are shorter and shorter. Like literally, I mean, I think on average, maximum 3 days out. I mean, this is for us. It's really unseen. I think that's for all of us. But again, I think you have to look at the total picture, right? I mean, if we talk purely from an operator point of view, definitely. I mean, if you are in a position to fill a whole hotel with a big group, to sacrifice a few guests here and there, I mean, you know, this was the same thing before. I think you have to be smart about it. You have to analyze who are these guests that you might potentially drop. But frankly, I think it's a hypothetical question. I think right now, you know, if you are in such a situation, congratulations. But I think sadly, we won't be for a while. But if you have any business like that, let us know, and we're happy to look into this.
Probably will not be the case in the next.
Yeah, sadly not. I suppose.
One question from my side, quickly. So, how do you see the coming autumn, winter? What's your prediction? Yeah.
Well, as you said, I mean, now we're all sort of optimistic and positive, and looks not too bad. But I fully agree. You know, once we start hitting October, November, it's going to be pretty bleak outlook. Again, hard to predict because right now, you know, our forecast more than 1 month out is absolutely, you know, not meaningful because it's such a short pickup. And it really depends on, you know, I don't want to mention the second wave. I would say the next second wave is going to be me in Barcelona by the beach. So that's the waves I want to have, no other. But if we look at it, you know, it's so unpredictable. On the one hand side, we're having a quite good requests coming of events, which we don't have at the moment. But events are starting, local events from September, October, weddings and so on taking place. That's nice to see. But you know, of course, you're not going to have the big travel group. We traditionally had big business from the US was our main feeder market, which is gone. China, Japan. But then again, we see new markets. Our Finnish friends, which we never really, for us, had in the past, they're now coming. We have now Norwegian, so kind of more non-traditional markets, I would say, are coming to us. So honestly, who knows? Let's see. I'm positive because I really see, especially local F&B doing very well. We're meeting now with local, how do you call it, office share, you know, like WeWork and these kind of companies to have local startups to come to the hotel, pay a daily rate and stay. So I think we have to find new revenue ways because if we just hope that autumn will be good, it won't be good. So we have to find new blue oceans, new strategies to fill the hotel and keep a lean structure. I think that's the only way. As we said, one thing is the revenue, but you know, you can only control that to a certain extent, but keep a lean operating structure. And you know, traditionally, you know, I've been working before in Dubai and China, where the GM had 3 PAs and then the hotel manager and the director of rooms, director of front office, and such a bloated structure, which you know maybe works in good times when you have an ADR 400 euros. But you know, these times are different, and we have to. I said to my team also, change the departmental thinking, you know, of, you know, I'm the front office manager and all I do is front office. So if you need help for the banqueting, don't even bother me. And I said, we have to have a mind shift change. We are hoteliers. So if you need help, I'm there. And really, we don't really hire anymore by position, but you want to work in a hotel. If you need to clean a room, you clean a room. If you have to wait, you know, serve the restaurant, you serve the restaurant. So I think that's a mentality change we have to instill in our people, starting with ourselves as the leaders. You know, you don't ask your PA to get your coffee, you get your own coffee, you know, and you know, what I mean is really to be leaner, less hierarchy, and like that, you can hopefully get through the tough seasons to be ready once, you know, the good business and times come back.
Great. Thank you very much, Kai. That was very good, interesting. And you nail it. So we have one more. The word goes to Jako. He wants to have some input on total RevPAR. Jako.
Yeah, I'd like to add one more viewpoint in connection of total RevPAR. Once I made the research in Tallinn hotels, and if you look the net square meter, then the net square meter which belongs to the guest rooms takes 40 to 42%, and if you talk about spa hotels, it's only 35–37%. And this is the issue. You cannot concentrate only for the 40%. You have to see the big picture. Of course, there is some administration rooms and so on, but still you have to consider all the services you have. The question is how good you are for running all the square meters, not only 40% of square meters. And in connection of this autumn and then future, then in Tallinn, for example, it is not good news, but in Tallinn, if you look at reservations ahead, then in August, the reservation during last 1 month has dropped down 11%, and in September it is 14%. Then autumn cannot be so good as we wish, probably. But the good news is that all the other years, starting from let's say from November, it's quite stable until the spring.
Well, I'm glad we ended it on a little bit of a positive note. So we have a few
Thank you, Jako.
months to look forward to.
Yeah. So just to wrap up and to pull together all kind of thoughts together. So one. Sure, for the pricing, so you don't need to run just in the leash of your competitors. You have to have your own mind as well. And one rule is that discount or discounted rates are not creating extra demand. Yeah, so still there is a same pie you need to divide. So, and for sure, another aspect which will be very important is how Kai mentioned, the very lean structures and efficiency will be the key. Who will survive at the best and who will outperform at the best. So with this, thank you our fantastic speakers, and thank you everybody who joined. It was really great. And then I give word back to Hillary to introduce the next webinar. So thank you, goodbye.
And thank you, Janis, and thank you, Kim, thank you, Kai, thank you, Jako, for a great session. I think it's been incredibly helpful, and we could talk on about this for a longer time, but we also wanted to make it quite concise, so we almost made it with 45 minutes, which I'm very happy about. And just one last slide for you guys. We'll be back next week with our 5th episode, which is going to be all about communication with a focusing on client. We'll send out information about that tomorrow, along with the materials and the recording from today. So do check back on the website as well for that, and we'll send the infographic around as well. And as always, thank you to our partner Enterprise Estonia and the city of Tallinn. All the information is on our website. My name is Hillary Rand. It's been wonderful hosting you, and thanks again for everyone. Have a really a nice rest of July, and stay safe and stay healthy. Bye from me as well.
Take care. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.